Hey everyone, this is Rich, Plant-Based Coaches Podcast. I'm joined here today with Doug Evans. I've been following him for a couple years now. He wrote the Sprout book, which turned me into sprouts. Basically, I've been eating sprouts ever since. I've gotten the sprouting kit, which he also released with his own company. Those jars, they're awesome. They're really built in such a way that other kits, the sprouts sometimes don't work. You waste a lot of seeds. Not with this kit. It's perfectly designed. I love it. So Doug, first I wanted to hear about your journey and how you got into sprouts, and then if you can lead up to what led you to write the book.
Okay, so I grew up eating cooked food, processed food, refined food, fast food, junk food. Like that was my life. And it was only after um, my family got really sick and fat and diabetic and heart disease and cancer, and pretty much they all, died except for my brother. And that turned me onto the plant-based diet back in 1999. So I started eating fresh, ripe, raw fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, seaweeds, and I found out like, hey, I can actually get full on these, and I can even better than getting full, I can feel good, because everyone knows it doesn't feel good to have headaches and indigestion and bloating and lethargy. So that got me into living kind of a clean, pure, lifestyle. But it was only about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, that when I moved to the desert, that I got really deep into sprouts and sprouting. That the idea that you could actually grow your own food was very exciting for me, but it didn't seem like a reality for me. But then through a series of events, I started to sprout. And within 1 cubic foot with 6 jars, I was eating thousands of calories a day of sprouts. And my whole life changed. Like it was so powerful to be able to consume this plant based nutrition that I was growing on my countertop at home without soil, sunshine, or fertilizer. That it was possible to be full and to be satiated by eating sprouts and plants and fruit. And that was, like such a mindset shift, because prior to that, I thought you needed to eat like bread or pizza or pasta or something else in order to, get nutrition.
So what made you discover sprouts? I mean, since I never heard of them until I saw your book. I mean, I never even thought about that you could eat them. And
I think most people in the United States thought of sprouts as a garnish or as a side dish. And for me, living in the desert, I knew about sprouts. I had been sprouting previously, but I never took them seriously. And then what happens is I ate enough of them one day, and all of a sudden I was full. And as I went down the
Mhm.
rabbit hole about learning about sprouts, the more I learned, the more excited I was, the more enthusiastic I was, and the more confidence I developed that sprouts could be a good form of nutrition and of sustenance for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I imagine a lot of people, you hear this all the time, I'm sure, they think that they're not going to get enough nutrients or food, calories, by eating this way. And you proved successfully that obviously you get more than enough of what you need, which is sprouts.
Yeah, I mean that was a big eye opener, for me. And now, like, look, I think that you could have lost your 165 pounds by eating sprouts, because sprouts are high fiber, high nutrients, low fat, and low calorie, right? So the more sprouts someone's eating, the more it's supporting weight management and overall, as you described to my brother, anti-inflammation. So sprouts are very anti-inflammatory because of all the phytonutrients, the isothiocyanates, the glucosinolates. All of these things are very powerful.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the gluco. Never know how to say that word. The thing that's in
Glucoraphanin.
broccoli,
Yeah,
glucothiamine,
glucoraphanin.
or
Glucoraphanin.
thank you. I just purchased those seeds. I appreciate that you have them now in the organic form. I can't wait till they're ready. I just started sprouting them yesterday. But I wondered how you found that seed, how you were able to enhance it as you were.
Well, that was selective breeding over decades in order to get those and to get them in organic. So it was just, it's a lot of dedication, right? In finding, because like to me, I look at everything that you consume is really a choice and it's a decision to live. And so for me, I continually raise my standards about everything that I'm willing to put in my body. What do I read? What do I eat? What do I breathe? What do I listen to? So when it came to, consuming sprouts, if I'm going to eat sprouts,
Mhm.
I wanted to have guaranteed to sprout seeds. I want them to be certified organic. I want them to have a high germination rate. I wanted to test them for pathogens. And I want them to taste good. And so this has just been the journey of creation, that's occurred.
Obviously, you've reversed whatever. I think you said you had heart disease um, prior to this.
Well, my brother had heart disease. Thank God I was just overweight.
Um, oh, okay, okay. How much weight did you lose yourself?
I lost 36 pounds. So not a terrible amount, but enough to, really hold me back.
Sure, sure. And you noticed, like, I'm sure your energy increased and all that after you lost the weight. Just eating this way, I know in general gives you more energy and you're more awake.
Yeah, every aspect of my life changed. I mean, probably the best decision I ever made in my life was to become plant-based and then to lean into the sprouts by far.
Now, I imagine nobody else in your family has done this because unfortunately you said most of them have passed. Um, do you think any of, yeah, if you can talk to some of your other family members that have passed, do you think they would have changed their mind or embraced a plant-based diet had they heard about it years ago? Or you ever wonder about that?
I think that, you know, they're just like every other person. If you can make it delicious and accessible and you can educate them, you know, I think people are smart. And
Yeah,
what happens is when, when someone doesn't have a horse in the race and they're neutral, then you can change them. If they dig in and lean in to these other lifestyles and they want to be a carnivore, then you're barking up the wrong tree, right? At best, you can get them to eat some sprouts, but they're not going to shift. And unfortunately, like that's human nature. So what we have to do is just be embracing all people of all types and all sizes and all preferences and help them understand the benefits of fiber, the benefits of nutrients.
yeah, exactly. I know I've had a few clients in the past who they know I'm a plant-based coach, but they told me up front that they would never be plant-based.
Yes,
So I still decided to work with them and encourage more fiber and to have more greens because I think anybody's health can improve if they incorporate more elements of whole food plant-based, whether they go all the way in or not. And I think even your brother, if he would
I agree.
incorporate sprouts, at least maybe there's a chance he could at least lessen the impact on his body.
I mean, it, it look, it, the challenge is you got to, someone has to want it,
Yes.
right? If they want it, they can figure out a way. If they don't want it, you're just barking up the wrong tree. So, what made you want to lose your weight?
It was health. It was any time before that I tried to lose weight, it never worked because it wasn't about health. For me, I didn't want to go on medication. That's the part that I don't know where that comes from because my mom was a nurse, and when I told her at the time they wanted to put me on blood pressure meds, she said at that time that everybody's on something, it's not a big deal. You know, she was used to passing out meds in her job. And yeah, I had this in me that I did
Wow.
not want to go on meds because I didn't want to be hooked on something for life and, be a slave to that. So that drive and determination took me to the internet, helped me discover Dr. Furman, and I had that determination to not go on meds. The doctor agreed, so it turned into like a kind of a contest, I guess, with myself to see if I could, avoid meds and yeah, I pushed myself hard. Um, I think I wanted to prove to other people too around me that I don't really need meds. I know that that's the usual
Right.
protocol, but I wanted to prove that it isn't for everybody, and that just really broke me.
Yeah. Well, look, I think you've done good things. And look, here's the essence about sprouting, right? And I'll just kind of go into it. You can grow sprouts without soil,
Yeah,
without sunshine, without fertilizer, pretty much anywhere in the universe, right? And if you're able to watch this podcast, you can sprout. And sprouts grow without soil, sunshine, or fertilizer in days, and even with the most expensive seeds, it's about $1 a serving. So you're able to get these super nutrient foods that you can grow and get a fresh harvest daily. The average produce is traveling 2,000 miles across the country, and by the time it arrives in the grocery store, it's already degrading and decaying. So the idea that you can have fresh produce at home that you're growing and have a fresh crop every day, like what I'm seeing at the sprouting company, is that people are adding second and third sprouters, and they always have a fresh crop, and they're adding different varieties, which is good for the microbiome, and they're consuming sprouts in all these innovative fashion ways. Like people are replacing protein powders with mung bean sprouts and lentil
mm-hmm.
sprouts and bean and green pea sprouts, right? And they're adding sprouts, not only to their salad, they're making entire salads out of sprouts.
Yeah.
So this is a big shift in consciousness, and I'm seeing it in front of my eyes. With the global community now, I have 500,000 followers. Like I'm seeing this global transformation occurring.
I love that too. Um, yeah, the more people follow you, the better because the more people are eating better. Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly.
And I like what you said about you don't require any dirt. The only ingredient you really need besides the seeds is water. It's really easy.
That's right.
I used to think I didn't have a green thumb, because I've tried gardening in the past. Sprouting, I've never had an issue. It's just a no-brainer, really. Just got to remember to.
Yeah. How long have you been? How many crops? How many crops of sprouts do you think you've had at this point, Richard?
Oh, it's hard to count. It's been hundreds. I got so into it since then.
I love it. I love it.
And you know what my favorite sprout is? I mean, they all are good, and I'm sure everybody has their own favorites. Broccoli, of course, is one, but the other one I found I liked is fenugreek. Some seeds are harder than others to sprout. Fenugreek seems to grow really fast, faster than the other ones.
Yeah, we're gonna start selling fenugreek, a little later this year.
Oh, great! I'll have to check that out. There's just so many
And I wrote a
varieties.
lot. I wrote a lot about fenugreek. book.
And there's so many varieties. There's some seeds that I notice that don't sprout very well. I'm wondering if you can talk about those if it's just impossible. Like
Which ones?
I bought cilantro because I remember seeing microgreens in the store for cilantro. I
Yeah.
tried to sprout that, that didn't seem to work.
No, they really require a sprouting medium or soil. It's a different process.
Yeah,
Like, pretty much the alfalfa, radish, clover, broccoli, lentils, green peas, mung beans,
yep.
clover. Those are the ones that sprout really well in a jar, and that's what I really, amplify.
Yeah, lentils is another incredibly easy one. They seem to sprout in like 3 days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And when you sprout a lentil, you increase the vitamin C by 300%. Like like everyone who's eating lentils should eat sprouted lentils.
That's another question I had for you. You were talking about produce being shipped thousands of miles away. Um, I imagine a lot of nutrients are lost. So are we even getting much nutrients? I mean, I don't want to discourage people from buying veggies, but
Well, look, I would I would rather eat old conventional
oh
produce
yeah, I agree.
than processed bread or meat or other things. So it's all about getting the standards of the best you can, at any point in time.
Absolutely. I noticed a huge shift though with the way I feel with sprouts. Just the my energy. Yeah, I feel more alert and
Yeah, you get the vitality of the sprouts. You get to absorb it, and you get that vitality.
now, I think I heard on another recent podcast. I think you are incorporating other foods with the sprouts now, or are you still exclusively sprouts?
Well, no, I'm
Yeah,
eating fruits. I'm eating some steamed vegetables on
yeah,
occasion, and I'm eating sprouts, and I'm eating sea vegetables.
right. So if you don't mind telling our audience, because they always love to hear what a typical day looks like for eating. If you don't mind getting into that, like,
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm happy to do that, Richard, and I'm happy to continue another time, as well. But a typical day for me is I wake up around 5 a.m. and I just have an ounce of water you know, just to clear my mouth and things. And then I do nothing until about 12 noon. And then I start eating fruit that's in season. So mono fruit. So I'll have like watermelon. Then a couple of hours later, I'll have a different fruit. And then around 5 o'clock, I start eating sprouts from 5 to 6. And I'll either, if I'm alone, I eat them plain. If I'm with the family, we make a salad and we make side dishes. And then, by 6, 7 o'clock the latest, I'm done eating, and that's it. And in the course of eating the sprouts, the sea vegetables, sometimes some tahini, maybe a little avocado. I do mostly carbs, very little fat, and no added proteins.
wow, that's awesome. You just taught reminded me of a recipe you shared with Dr. Furman that I gotta try with the tahini, the hummus that you made with the sprouted
Garbanzo
uh,
beans, yeah.
chickpeas.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta try that. That sounded really good.
Well, terrific. Well, Richard, you are a legend. I'm so excited that we had a little
Definitely.
chat and happy to do it again, in the
Definitely. I mean, we
future.
ran into some
And
technical
you have
difficulties,
the
and
best night ever.
I do have more questions, but I'd love to get
Hey,
together maybe yeah, a month or two.
we'll do it again. I have a hard stop.
Yeah,
So terrific. Well, Richard, you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much, my friend. Okay. Bye bye now.
yeah, we'll be in touch.